Hi, this is Phil, and I'm here to tell you all about the Capes and Lunatics Patreon. Get early access to all of our interviews, including the monthly Chichester chats with writer and comic book legend D.G. Chichester, new episodes of classic Capes and Lunatics shows, including The Quantum Zone, This, That, or the Third, and many, many more specials, all completely uncensored. Access starts for $3 a month, full video when you pledge $5 a month. Check out the link in our show notes or go to patreon.com/CapesandLunatics. Hope to see you there.
At the end of this day, one shall stand, one shall fall.
Hello and welcome to another episode of Greetings from Cybertron, the Capes and Lunatics first YouTube exclusive ongoing show. I am Phil, and joining me as always is...
I am Matt.
More than meets the eye.
I'm more than meets the eye.
Good Lord. So, we flipped the coin to see who won first, but Matt's from Boston, so he might cheat, so...
Oh. And is it... Did you say I'm more than meets the eye because your name has an I in it and mine does not? Is that... I don't know. Different spelling of the word I, but...
I don't know, you got me with that Common Core math, I don't know.
Strike it from the record.
Yeah, because no one will ever see this.
Yes. Oh, come on.
No, I mean, it's YouTube. It won't stay there forever.
That's true.
Yeah. All right. So.
Also, you're saying this is a YouTube exclusive show, but who knows? Someone could be bootlegging the audio of this and putting it on SoundCloud. So
that's true.
Tape traders, the Deadheads. This is what they're doing since the Grateful Dead's no longer touring.
Damn hippies. But yeah, so I mean, we aren't at least. So
no, we're not damned hippies.
Should be exclusive. All right, so of course tonight for the third episode we're doing Transformers number 3, guest starring Spider-Man.
Yeah, Spider-Man commonly used, especially in the 80s, to pump up a new book. Usually, it'll be the first handful of issues.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know if they really needed him. The Transformers were kind of already a brand by then, but doesn't help. That doesn't hurt, rather. And I did a little research, a little backstory. The Hasbro was a little bit wary because the Spider-Man action figures were made by a different company, but not the black Spider-Man. So that hadn't been monetized yet with the toys. So they okayed it.
Oh, maybe that's why they used the black suit Spider-Man. Okay.
Yeah. That's what the internet tells me.
Because I was looking at the cover for last issue and the one after this, and it looks like this came out every other month.
Oh, okay.
I mean, I guess I'm guessing at least.
Well, this is the first paper one that I'm reading because I had the first two digital. But at the Northeast Comic Con and Collectibles thing today, this past weekend, I did some stand-up unsuccessfully at. I got a couple of back issues. I bought a bunch. But very elusive are the later issues. I guess the print run goes way down in the 70s and 80s. But,
yeah.
We'll get to it. Just to come back, check in 3 years, whenever we get to that.
Oh, we'll get there. Yeah. But because this is this was cover dated January 85, and issue 4 is like March, I think, and then issue 2 was like November. So yeah, I'm thinking maybe at least for the 4-issue mini limited series, quote unquote, there was like every other month. But it looks like once you hit issue 5, it goes monthly. So
yeah.
All right. So let's jump in.
Let's do it.
I will begin.
Good side.
Let's see if I can do the intro.
Yeah, you're gonna do page 1, but look on look at the cover of the back cover, the advertisement. GoBots. You have GoBots on yours?
No,
you don't. Is that sacrilege for a? Wow.
I got your start your own ripoffs gang.
Wow. I wonder.
Well,
I wonder what that means. Maybe I have a reprint. I mean, I have the direct one because I have the black Spidey and
so do I. So do I.
You
but
do?
at the bottom of mine it says third printing. So.
Oh, okay.
So, perhaps you have a.
Second printing. I have second printing.
I have third. So yeah.
Oh, okay.
So look, yours. Oh, look, you got an older one than I do. Ooh.
I got the GoBots crossover.
GoBots.
Yeah.
They're like, kids won't know the difference.
Yeah.
It's also GoBots.
Turbo is a robot sports car.
I had Turbo.
Space C is a robot space shuttle. Royal T is a robot jet fighter. And Buggy Man is a robot dune buggy.
Oh man, I'm gonna have to tell our co-host Will on the Quantum Zone. That's your new name, Royal T.
Royal T. That works both ways because they drink a lot of tea in England, and royalty drinks it too.
That's your rap name, Royal T.
Yo, this is Royal T. I got 2 T's in my name.
All right.
More than meets the eye. All right, go on. I'm sorry.
All right, let's see if I can do this intro like you did last week.
All right.
I believe you did it. 4 million years ago, they came from Cybertron, a world composed entirely of machinery, ... A world torn by an age-old war between the heroic Autobots and the evil Decepticons. These incredibly powerful living robots capable of converting themselves into land and air vehicles, weapons, and other mechanical forms continue their conflict here on Earth. They are the Transformers. All right, so we start somewhere over Oregon. 3 jet fighters soar. Not an odd sight, but there's more than meets the eye. We should hit a bell every time they or we say more than meets the eye. Yeah. These jets are alive. And then we see inside, I think that's Starscream, meets Sparkplug Witwicky, a simple, hardworking man, a mechanic with his own service station. Somehow he's become a title, prisoner of war. And he's pounding on the inside. Let me out of here, stupid machine. Starscream says, a foolish request. Our analysis of your species finds that if I were to release you at this height, your frail form wouldn't possibly survive. We need you for our purposes whole. And we get the credits. Jim.
I mean, Starscream does make a good point. He is in midair. Don't release him yet.
We don't need to put me down gently.
Yes.
But it's Jim Salicrup, writer, Frank Springer, penciler, DeMulder and Esposito, inker, Chiang, and others, letters. Neil Yomtov, colorist, Bob Badansky, editor, and Jim Shooter, editor-in-chief. I believe Chiang and Neil Yomtov, I think we've had them in Quasar issues, haven't we?
Chiang, definitely.
Quasar,
Yomtov, possibly.
I was going to say, Quasar and or Avengers, I believe.
Yeah, I think maybe both, yeah. How demoralizing would it be if you were to help Chiang with the letters, and just be relegated to and others?
Must be a big list.
Yeah. Okay, we move on. You see the sort of a mountain, the fortress coming out of it. If conversing with a living alien jet fighter didn't induce symptoms of advanced future shock and Sparkplug, perhaps seeing the awesome Decepticon fortress, or while still inside him, witnessing Starscream's amazing transformation will. Machines have been slaves in this backward world long enough. Today the roles are rightly reversed, Starscream says as he plucks Sparkplug from the cockpit. Oh! You'll never get away with this. I'm an American citizen. But Sparkplug's protests go unnoticed as Decepticons Skyward and Thundercracker transform and land. A tape player, 3 cassette tapes, and a Walther P-38 fly forth from the towering Twin Titans. And astonishingly, they enlarge hundreds of times over and change into Soundwave, Megatron, Frenzy, and Ravage.
Finally, Buzzsaw and Laserbeak, the slower flying Decepticons, arrive. I could just see the rest of them just like sitting there tapping their foot like, okay, where are they? All right. So, as Starscream says, as incredible as it may seem, the human holds the key to our survival in this repulsive world. And Sparkplug says, why don't you guys pick on someone your own size? And Starscream says, fortunately, my superior design enabled me to easily wrest this lowly carbon-based creature from our enemy's grasp. See Transformers 2. And Megatron, you performed your duty well, Starscream. And he says, I do whatever must be done, great Megatron. Megatron thinks, indeed, Starscream, like presenting yourself as the Decepticon most worthy to lead us. But you overestimate your worth as well as your comrades' gullibility. And Starscream, shall we attend to the task at hand, great Megatron? Holding Sparkplug by the back of his shirt. What do you want from me? Let's begin at once. I weary of the humans prattling, Megatron says as he thinks, and your sarcasm, Starscream. As long as I wield the power of my fusion cannon, my position of command is assured, but my patience is not unlimited. I haven't remained in power for countless millennia by surrounding myself with assassins. Watch your steps, Starscream. The day may soon come when your services are no longer required.
Ooh. And some of the words in Starscream's name do spell sarcasm. I don't know. Just pointing it out. And then we see a Sparkplug getting lifted up, put on a platform. We are not of your world. No kidding. Silence. Listen closely. Just as you depend on oxygen and food for survival, we require fuel. My spies have ascertained that you possess the technical facility to convert your world's primitive hydrocarbon fuels into the life-sustaining fuel we need. You will provide us with that fuel. And Sparkplug starts thinking to himself, it's beginning to make sense. Despite their advanced science, they can't comprehend Earth's primitive technology. Just look at this place. It's constructed from the Harrison nuclear power plant. They had possibly Earth's mightiest fuel source in their hands, and they built this weird fortress. They're like modern men trying to hack it back in caveman days. And these guys ain't any friendlier than my jail keepers when I was a prisoner of war in Korea. Well, if that's the case, my name is William Witwicky, Sergeant First Class, United States Marines. Serial number, Megatron just turns him upside down. He yells, enough! You will cooperate or cease to exist.
Ooh.
So he has some experience being a prisoner of war. Also, the serial number. Well, come on. What is he giving that for? Because they're machines? They'd feel comfortable with that?
Yeah. My warranty's not up. All right. Meanwhile, Sparkplug's son, Buster, surveys the aftermath of the battle which culminated with his father's abduction. As he's asking the Autobots, are you guys all right? And Optimus says, we're in desperate need of fuel. The battle has taken its toll. And Bumblebee, looking, I think, drawn the best we've seen him so far. He actually has a face this time.
Yeah.
I don't know. From what I've heard, they used to, they might not get, the completed designs of the whole time, so they had to go by, the toys, but then they would get, the character sheets. Like, oh, okay, this is what they're going to look like in the cartoon or whatever. Okay.
Yeah.
So Bumblebee says, I'm sorry, Buster. This is all my fault. Your father saved my life. Last issue. I love the last page it said, or the page or two back it said Transformers 2, but this one says last issue. They were the same thing.
Bob's mixing it up, you know? You want to use the penciling for the edit. You don't want, Chiang and others give him some different words to use.
Bob, keeping it fresh. All right, so he says, and when Optimus Prime entrusted me to protect you and your father, I failed. And Optimus says, no, Bumblebee, it is I, Optimus Prime, who speaks in the third person now, who must take full responsibility for failing to protect our human friends. As leader of the Autobots, the blame can fall on no one else. And Buster, look, I don't care whose fault it is. All I want is my father back alive, and I'm not sure if you guys are in any condition to help. Then we hear, Buster! And of course, it's Jesse. Oh! Buster, we saw everything. Oh, I'm so scared. If anything was to happen to you, where'd all these rejects from a George Lucas film come from? Oh asks.
Oh man. Oh,
he's giving him the O face.
Now, is he making an American graffiti joke because that was all about cars, or is it a Star Wars joke? Probably a Star Wars joke.
I assume Star Wars, but
I know. I'm just being a wiseacre. So
at least he didn't say Stephen King.
Oh, that's another rabbit hole. I did a trivia podcast, which comes out April 6th, and I had a Stephen King question that I thought was a slam dunk, and I missed it big time. But
what was it?
So it was a question about a telekinetic child, and I heard telekinetic and child, and I said fire starter. Now, Carrie is telekinetic. That was the right answer. But I think of her more as a teen. But, yeah. Anyway, it's embarrassing. Yeah.
Because it's a fire starter or pyrokinetic, not a telekinetic.
But doesn't she start fires with her mind? Anyway. But I feel ashamed. But I'm not afraid to admit that. We continue. Optimus Prime starts talking to Buster and his friends. We must return to the Ark immediately to refuel. O says, the Ark? It's not going to rain or anything. No, O, it's their ship. O says, O. Excellent. I'm going with you. I haven't a chance of getting my father back without your help. And Optimus commands the troops, once refueled, you have my word that we will return your father to you. Don't look now, Buster, but here comes the neighborhood. As the cars start to gather around, Optimus, Prowl, Hound, and the other Autobots quickly transform into their vehicular modes, while the startled onlookers gasp in amazement. Guy in the front, wow. Optimus Prime now has a big rig, opens up his back gate so another Transformer can drive in. Hound, sideswipe. You're both low in fuel. Ride with me. As you command, Optimus. And then wait till Doc Ratchet sees he has to patch up Sideswipe again. See, last issue, Bob.
Ooh, another last issue. All right, and Buster decides enough with Bumblebee. He's going to get in Optimus. And Jesse's thinking, Buster's risking his life to save his father. I always knew he was sensitive. I didn't realize he was so brave. And gee, I'd come along and help, but I don't think my folks would understand, because parents just don't understand.
That's right. The Fresh Prince of PA. He is from West Philadelphia. All right.
Born and raised. And Buster says, forget it. This is strictly a family matter. And Jesse kisses him on the cheek and says, be careful. He says, of course. And before the eyes of the startled onlookers, the Autobots move out. Or
Autobots, roll out.
Prime says, let's roll. And Jess, I'm worried. Oh, do you think we'll ever see Buster again? And O says, don't even say that, Jess. There's at least one more issue left in the miniseries. But then, coming down the road, the speeding Autobot convoy does not go unnoticed on the highway. As we see a cop on a motorcycle, that kid and his friends must be looking for trouble. Why else would they pass me at 30 miles over the limit?
It should be noted that he does not have a radar gun on him. He knows. Just
guess. Educated guess, yeah.
Yeah. They always make it up anyway. So the cop starts speeding by with an "Ee! This isn't the Indy 500. Pull her over, kid." Gears responds, "Get lost, Two Wheels. We're trying to save your world. There's no stopping us now." And then the cop shrieks to a halt. "Whoa, there's no one in there." Tumbles over the side as the Transformers roll on. Sarge always said if you put in enough miles, you'll believe a car could talk. Did Sarge? That's a weird thing to say, Sarge. Then Mount St. Hilary, you see them climbing up the incline. Where 4 million years since it first crashed on Earth, carrying the Autobots and the Decepticons, the Ark has rested peacefully. Welcome back, Optimus. The repairs you requested on the Ark proceed well, but I discovered something in the computer memory banks that I think you should later, Ratchet. Right now, we must deal with the crisis situation. Use what precious fuel we have left to refuel Cliffjumper, Brawn, and Sunstreaker, Windcharger, Hound, Gears, and me. That's it? Just refuel the entire fleet?
Well, no. They didn't mention Bumblebee.
Okay, that's true.
And look, Ratchet also has a more defined look.
Yeah.
And that info in the memory bank isn't going to come back and bite you in the butt, Optimus, is it? No. And Buster's still sitting Optimus thinking, the Ark's unbelievable. I've never seen anything like it before. It's constructed on such a huge scale that I'm beginning to feel very small and insignificant before it. But meanwhile, we see Sparkplug saying, I think I'm beginning to see your point, Megatron. As we see, was that maybe Laserbeak or is using his laser to draw a round Sparkplug coming dangerously close. And after Sparkplug sees his point, Megatron says, "I knew you would. You may turn off your eye beams, Laserbeak." And Sparkplug says, "Thanks, big guy." And Megatron, "You will now devise a conversion process that will turn the primitive propellant you call gasoline into our special fuel, or you will die." And he says, No problem, but I'll need a sample of your fuel." And Megatron, "You'll receive all you require." And Megatron, Rumble, whatever you say, boss." And Sparkplug's thinking, these stooges will do whatever the big cheese tells them to, as Rumble takes his hand off and starts pouring fuel into a drum from his severed wrist. As he says, "Say when, Scraplet." And speaking of Scraplets, you will learn what a Scraplet is in issues 28 and 29, I believe.
So stay tuned, everyone.
Stay tuned. A couple more months, yes. And Sparkplug says, that's enough.
And so Sparkplug is addressing him from his little podium. "But I still need raw materials to work with and a lab to work in." Megatron says, "Nothing is beyond the reach of Megatron, human. What do you require?" Seinfeld baseline. Later, at the University of Oregon, the sound of incredibly heavy footsteps echo through the nearly deserted campus. Boom, boom, boom. Inside these hollowed walls of learning, the super-strong Decepticon known as Soundwave removes a large piece of the chemistry department. "This is what the human requested," as he wrenches it free with no W. Hey, come back here with that." Some security guard begins firing on him.
Bang, bang.
Wow. Campus security just shoots right away. "I'd quit this job if I wasn't so close to retirement." And elsewhere.
Hey, at least the security guard's alive. Usually when a guy says I'm so close to retirement, he usually ends up dead.
That's true. And then we see one of the Decepticons
Rumble.
Jumping up Rumble. There you go.
See, look, there's his name right under his feet.
It is saying it. I was looking ahead to see if he even speaks in the third person or someone addresses him, but he's jumping up and down, causing a massive crack in the foundation outside of exit 14 North, if you guys are familiar with the highways of Oregon. "Into the line, pink thing." And then you see the trucker says, "That thing's wrecking the road, causing an earthquake." And Rumble starts tying it up or taking a hose out of here. "Yeah, got to tie this up nice and neat for Starscream. They didn't say anything about this at the Driver's Training Institute," as he runs away. And Rumble makes a giant lasso. "Yahoo! I'm getting a like it here." "You did well, Rumble," says Starscream, who begins to haul the truck suspended in the air elsewhere down towards their stronghold. Meanwhile, the Decepticons' rampaging ways have not gone unnoticed. And we see in Washington, D.C., Reagan era, 1985. Well, at least no injuries were reported in the robots' raid on the Harrison nuclear power plant. We're unable at this time to prove that the Russians are controlling the robots, sir.
All right. And in Moscow, who would that be? Gorbachev saying they must be testing their Star Wars arsenal, comrade. And then, Marvel fans, get ready for this page. In the flying headquarters of America's super spy organization, S.H.I.E.L.D., Dum Dum Dugan saying, we got to check out what's going on in Oregon, Nicholas. And Fury says, Dum Dum, if that big green fire snorting lizard is loose again, I quit. Is that Godzilla?
Yeah, I guess Godzilla was targeted by S.H.I.E.L.D.
And then in the office of the New York Daily Bugle's new editor-in-chief, Joe Robertson, Joe's thinking, hope this assignment isn't too rough for Parker. I'm banking on his experience at shooting Spider-Man in action to help him get exclusive photos of whatever walked off with that power plant. Better check to see if he made his plane on time. And Dawn. And a couple time zones away, even though they don't say that. And the Decepticon fortress is surrounded by the army and the news media, as we see a reporter say, rumors are flying that the strange shape-changing machines that attacked Oregon's Harrison nuclear power plant have taken refuge inside the bizarre structure you see behind me. Some even suspect that this fortress itself was constructed with equipment stolen from the Harrison plant. Eyewitness News has learned. But as for the Bugle's Peter Parker, he's thinking, I'll never get any exclusives for Robbie this way. I've got to break away from the pack. As soon, in a nearby secluded spot, I'll have a much better chance at photographing whatever's in that fortress as Spider-Man. As
he begins to transform.
Yes. I should do that. Oh, crap. As he begins to transform. No. But no, we see the alien costume changing.
Yes, symbiote going down his arms.
Although the story note says this story takes place before Spider-Man 258, because I actually looked this up. The cover date on Amazing Spider-Man 258 was November, so
yeah,
I'm wondering if they just couldn't get it in time since this book was coming out every other month.
Yeah, and I looked up, so January 85, The Amazing Spider-Man was on issue 260.
Yeah.
They had the black Spider-Man in the corner, but the red Spider-Man is battling Hobgoblin on the cover.
Yeah, no, because they said this takes place before 258.
258 is where he loses it.
Well, the Fantastic Four help him get it off him. Yeah,
gotcha.
And then months later, he starts wearing like a cloth version of it. But this is obviously the symbiote,
right? It's growing down his arm
because he's saying this costume's quite a time saver. All I have to do is think about changing, and it takes care of the rest. And he starts. Shoots a web line, starts climbing a tree. If only I could solve all my problems as easily. Because this costume's never going to be a problem.
No. You know, I was kind of wondering if this was going to make a crossover Capes and Lunatics podcast for the Ultimate Spider-Cast. But
maybe, but Lilith is out of town, so.
Shoot. That's true. All right, so inside the Decepticons' fortress.
I'm here. That's the career crossover.
Yeah, that's true. So, Soundwave is talking to Megatron. I'm picking up a signal from the humans. Great, Megatron. Let's hear it, Soundwave. And then you see the cassette deck coming out of his chest. This is General McBrigg. Mom, hang up. This is General McBrigg of the United States Army. We come in peace and only wish to talk. Bah, Starscream can handle this petty annoyance. And then you see working hard in this chemistry lab with a stolen gas truck. Sparkplug is thinking to himself, it's about time. I was wondering when the cavalry would arrive. And within seconds, Starscream takes off with Skywarp and Thundercracker. the humans never learn. And they begin firing on the army men who are beginning to storm their lair. How many times must they be fired upon before they realize how vulnerable they are? Look out! They're hitting us with cluster bombs! Hey, fire that anti-aircraft missiles! Blow that sucker out of the sky! Get our jets up there now! Commander says. Let's see what happens when they can't hear their leader's commands. Boom. That's what Starscream is saying as they sonic boomed them. They're covering their ears in pain. The Thundercracker's deafening sonic boom stuns the soldiers. Then Buzzsaw enters the fray, cutting off one of the Air Force plane's wings, sending the pilots to parachute to the ground. Primitive Earth vehicles are no match for me, Buzzsaw says. This diamond-hard, micro-serrated edged beak cleanly severs the jet fighter's wing. Blue leader's been hit, but I got one right in my sights. But before his missiles are fired, poof, like that, it was gone. The Air Force commander's like, what? The target's disappeared.
And because, the hunter is now the hunted, the brainless aircraft is no match for the teleporting talents of Skywarp. And we see the fighter, the Air Force plane. Now he's right on top of me. And Skywarp says, my earthly form is fast and strong, but I am a Decepticon warrior, and my victims are entitled to see the true face of their destroyer. As he transforms, stands on the plane, and just like starts ripping the wings off. Mayday, mayday. While below, we see Spider-Man hanging from a tree, and he says, what's this? Unless Detroit's training trucks to be quick change artists, I bet he's one of those robots returning to the nests as we see Gears transform. And he's thinking, how did I get stuck with this scouting mission? What do I care about these pesky little creatures? I've always suspected that Optimus Prime had a perverse sense of humor. So, do you think it's a coincidence that Spider-Man got teamed up with the red and blue Transformer?
Yes.
So Spider-Man starts swinging towards Gears as he's flying. Hey, hold on, big boy. Or as that funny lady on TV says, can we talk? And we see, I guess, the reporters on the ground. Look, up in the sky. It's one of those monsters. And he's with Spider-Man. Then the Bugle was right. He is one of the bad guys.
Oh, man.
He is working with space aliens.
It's always in the bad time, you know.
Spider-Man? Space alien? Don't be ridiculous.
Come on.
What's with that new costume?
He's a Joan Rivers fan. How can he be a bad guy? Come on. Can we talk?
So he lands on Gears' back, and Gears says, shoot, go away. You're endangering my mission. Spider-Man, well, we wouldn't want that to happen. Don't tell me. You want to take over the world. Am I right? And Gears says, blasted idiot. I'm on your side. Spider-Man, then explain why your buddy is tossing that at us. And Gears turns, what?
We see a giant tank coming their way. Spider-Man says, they don't see the tank. Fortunately, Gears does. Despite his gruff facade, Gears reacts as any noble Autobot would when innocent lives are threatened. Got it! Keep those cameras rolling! This is great footage! That's, I guess, the segment producer on the street is saying. Gears is starting to come down to the ground. Spider-Man holding onto his arm. Good catch! Creating a cushion of compressed air under his feet, Gears gently lands. Gears says, are you convinced now that we're both on the same team? Okay, so I put my foot in my mouth. What else is new? Would you believe there's a war going on? We, the Autobots, are fighting to stop the Decepticons from stripping your plant of all its precious fuel resources. Already, the Deceps have captured a human to help them replenish their own dwindling food supply. Spider-Man says, then what are we waiting for? Let's get to work. Not so fast. Optimus Prime must be informed. Spider-Man's like, who?
Meanwhile, one of the army guys says, pull back. We're totally outgunned. We don't have the hardware to stand up against these mechanical monsters. Then who does? While at the Ark, Ratchet tries to console Buster. As Buster says, what's going on? Why didn't Optimus take me along with the others? Ratchet says, Optimus has his reasons. I imagine not endangering your life again is one of them, and we're both needed for the next story arc. All right. And later, after extensive introductions and explanations, Spider-Man, clinging to a tree, talking to all the Autobots in their vehicle modes.
Upside down.
Yes. Says, I fought alongside some weird characters in my career, Optimus, but this has to be a first. And Optimus being all, patronizing, says, I'm sure tales of your exploits would be interesting, Spider-Man. But for now, can you inform your military to step aside and allow us to deal with the Decepticons? I love he's like, yeah, your adventures are probably pretty cute, but I've been in a 4 million year war, so.
Yeah. Spider-Man must be confused. He's like, what is this, a public war? I'm used to secret wars. Part 8. Come on.
I get souvenirs from him.
But first, the costume.
And Spider-Man says, trust me, they'll never bide coming for me, but I've got a plan, and I have a problem with this plan. We'll get to this.
Yeah.
And so we see him shoot out a web line and grab a helmet from one of the soldiers who says, come on, Ralph, stop playing tricks. And then donning the soldier's helmet, the web spinner drives, quote-unquote, Hound through the retreating front line with the other Autobots following. Spider-Man's thinking, in order to get through, everything depends on my timing. As he yells to the troops, pardon me, Sarge, the lieutenant gave me orders to return to the front line. And the one guy says, sure, go ahead. And Spider-Man thinks sometimes the best plans are the simplest. Basically, he just put the helmet on and slouched down. Hopefully no one would notice. But he's wearing the symbiote, which he has used he can make it look like any kind of clothing he wants. He could have made it look like an army uniform.
No. Just wants to take a soldier's helmet and demoralize them.
Don't want to upstage the Autobots, yeah. I guess.
And then you see the soldiers talking to each other. Hey, Sarge, why are those other cars following the Jeep? Who cares? We're bugging out. And then Spider-Man leading the way. Hi-ho, it's off to work we go. Good thing Disney bought Marvel so they can use that legally years later. The plan's working. We're past the first hurdle. The rest of you draw the Decep's fire. I'm going in with Spider-Man. As the Autobots begin to transform, the army attacks again. Cliffjumper, look out! No, Brawn, the Spider-Human was right. They can't tell us apart from the Decep, so we can't strike back. Can't they see we're not attacking them? Speaking of whom, then the jets get shot the Autobots' way. Cool! Ha! The Earth creatures fire upon their would-be saviors. Oh, is that the U.S. Air Force fighting on them, I guess? Or shooting at them. Sunstreaker's shoulder-mounted laser-guided ground-to-air missile finds its target. You're not as fast as you thought, Skywarp. This proves that I'm Cybertron's greatest warrior. Oh, that's news to everyone. These stupid Earthbound Autobots are helpless before the power of Rumble. As he begins to stomp on the ground and shakes the Autobots up. One of them,
as he attacks them with his name.
Yes, can't keep my balance.
And that's when we see Brawn charged Rumble and say, guess again, you dirty little Decep. Brawn's coming through, and Rumble says, bah, you're nothing but talk. And Brawn smacks him away with a katang, and he said, let my actions speak for me. And then, I guess that's Frenzy says, overcharged buffoon, you'll pay for striking my brother. And we see a zzzt, and Brawn goes, arg! High-pitched grating sound produced by Frenzy severely disrupts the electrical flow within Brawn's circuits, knocking him out. And he says, the pain, too much. We see the troops, we've got him on the run. And Frenzy saying, fear not, brother, I'll see that you are restored to fighting strength. But then, meanwhile, Spider-Man and Gears. Spider-Man, we're in luck, Gears. With the army and your buddies keeping them busy out front, they're not guarding the back door. Of course, this sheer drop is enough to discourage most visitors, even traveling salesmen, but not your friendly, out-of-town Spider-Man. And Gears thinks, this human reminds me of Blue Streak. They both seem to love the sound of their own voice. And Spider-Man starts climbing the side of the mountain while Gears starts flying up with a sput. Do all humans have powers like yours? And Spider-Man, not since I checked last. I'd feel real foolish if they did. Spider-Man notices Gears start falling down. What's that sound? Gears!
Power's going out. Going to fall. Quick, grab onto the web as he shoots from the top of his hand. Whip. Gotcha. You're too heavy. I don't know how long this line can hold you. And we'd best move fast. Gears starts climbing up. Right. As he's crunching into the wall. And you see inside the lair of the Decepticons. So Sparkplug, it seems that at home in his little oily lab, just sitting on a rolling chair, talking prices with Megatron. So, human, have you completed your task? Yeah, Bullethead, I've done your dirty work for you. Take your stinking fuel and leave me alone. Be warned, human. Insolence from slaves whose value has ended is not tolerated by Megatron. And then outside, Spidey and Gears are getting to the top. Once we grab their prisoner, let's get out fast. I have no complaints with that. I didn't wish to be here in the first place. Oh, Gears, come on, man.
And then inside, we see Megatron steal Soundwave's lines because who appears to be Megatron's thinking, my sensors detect an Autobot intruder entering through the rear of the fortress. Not even the weakest radio signal can evade Soundwave. Okay. Bragging about his buddy. And we see Gears and Spider-Man inside. This place is big enough to hold the Super Bowl win. Where do we even begin to look? Then he says, hold it, as he sees Frenzy bringing Rumble back in. Allow me, as he shoots out a web line, which from the top of his hand, which is correct because
it's a custom. Oh yeah, no, I wasn't
okay.
Criticizing it. I know the deal.
Okay, yeah, he shoots out a web line, trips Frenzy, so Rumble and Frenzy both fall with a crack-a-toom. And Spidey, that takes care of Tweedledum and Tweedledee. Says, whoa, my spider sense is going wild. In a fortress full of giant robots. Who would have thought? From the shadows leaps Ravage with a roar. And Gears, where did he come from? And Spider-Man jumps up on the wall and says, thought I saw a pussycat. And Ravage jumps at him, but Spider-Man leaps away. He's fast and almost as agile as I am.
Man, we got Spider-Man quoting the Seven Dwarves, now Tweety and Sylvester. It's great. I like how when he shoots the web from the top of his hand, he still makes the hand gesture, though.
Yes.
Like, just muscle memory.
It's sign language for the symbiote.
True. So, see, Spider-Man is still being stalked by Ravage. This game of cat and mouse isn't much fun for us mouse types. Ravage thinks, this human is unlike any I've seen before. Hey, don't you know it's Be Nice to Spider-Man week? You avoided my charge. Very peeved Ravage looks on. And then Gears comes up from behind and cold cocks Ravage. But you can't avoid my fist. This will send you back to Shadowland. Katam. Good teamwork, Gears. Now let's hustle. And Spidey starts swinging through the doorway. They're trying to seal us in, and I didn't even bring my overnight bag. Spider-Man gets out from the shutting door. See you later, big brother. Followed in short succession by Gears, who just punches his way through with a right hook. Choom! Not so fast. We're in this together, little one. How touching. The Autobots have a new friend, Megatron remarks. Finally looking more purple.
No,
Yow! Oh, is that... Okay, that's Soundwave. Yeah, that's right. I thought he had the one hand, but it's blasting Spider-Man. Yow! Can't dodge these blasts forever. What do you know about friendship, Soundwave? I hear you can't even... I hear that even your fellow Decepts can't stand you.
Ooh.
Oh, shots fired, or punches thrown, rather. As he gives him a Charlie horse in his bazooka hand. Ugh. Your distractions were of great value. Soundwave is seldom so easily beaten. Spider-Man, glad I could help, but now we've reached a dead end. The only way out is the way we came in. Dun, 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 dun.
As Gears says, not necessarily. With a wrench, he pulls the more wall apart. And Spider-Man, bet you're lots of fun at parties, too. And he says, we've hit the jackpot. Don't worry, friend. We'll get you out of here. He's saying the spark plug. And we see Megatron say, "What?" as Spider-Man starts webbing him up. And Sparkplug says, "Didn't expect to see one of you guys again." And Spider-Man seems to have Megatron all wrapped up and says, "Bazooka Joe's all tied up. Let's call a cab and split." Sparkplug says, "Remind me to thank that masked fella." And Gears says, "This is worse than expected. We don't have a chance against Megatron." As he says, "Spider-Man, hurry, we must." And then we see Megatron rip out of the web with a rip. Who dares attempt to ensnare Megatron? And Gears, "No, it is too late." And Spider-Man's like, "Uh-oh." And Megatron, being ever helpful, says, "Here, let Megatron help you escape. The human has served his purpose and is no longer required." As he blasts a hole in the floor with a bzzzt. And Spider-Man thinks they'll fall to their deaths as he leaps out the hole after them. "Sorry, I can't stay in chat, but I really must be going."
And so Spidey makes a web with his right hand and shoots down at Gears and Sparkplug with his left, nabbing them. "Hang on, I'll shoot a web to each of you." Thanks to himself, my webbing was barely able to hold Gears before. Now with the added momentum of his fall, I don't know. And then you see it snaps out on Gears. Sparkplug is still ensnared. Spider-Man, still in dismay, yells, "No! His web broke!" And Gears begins to fall. Mission accomplished, friends. Lands with a boom. Spider-Man gets his arm around Sparkplug. There's nothing we can do. Let's get out of here. And soon after, the other Autobots have disengaged from their battle with the Decepticons on the other side of the mountain. They're all circled around their fallen comrade as Spidey swings down. And I guess Sparkplug is on the other side of things. That's the last piece. We've collected all that's left of him. "How could you be so cold and unfeeling?" Spidey asks. "He died a hero." Sparkplug says, "Don't you even have any mechanical hearts?" Optimus Prime thinks to himself, "The humans don't understand. Our form of life is vastly different from theirs." But there's no time to explain now. Man, Optimus Prime doesn't have time to look at the old footage. He doesn't have time to explain. He's all business.
That's right.
And later, back at the Ark, I'm guessing that's old Buster yells happily, "Dad!"
Be kind of creepy if it wasn't Buster.
Yeah, it's true.
So Buster and Sparkplug reunite because Sparkplug says, "Buster, I can't tell you how good it is to see you again." And Buster, "I was so scared." "So was I, son. So was I." And meanwhile, above the happy reunion, we see Spider-Man swinging through the Ark. "This ship is literally out of this world. Even the Fantastic Four's brilliant leader, Reed Richards, would feel like a kid at his first science fair in here." And then he's like hanging next to Optimus's head. "I'm sorry about what happened to Gears, Optimus. Even the good guys die sometimes." And Optimus says, "Die?" Spider-Man, "You mean he's still alive?" And Optimus, "No, but neither is he what you would term, quote-unquote, dead." And he says, "You lost me, Op." And Optimus, "No matter. What's important is the valor you've shown today will always be an inspiration to our struggle. But this is our war, and I can ask no more of you, Spider-Man, and neither can Hasbro." And Spider-Man, "That's fine, because I've got a plane to catch. And I'll never mention this to the Avengers or anyone any other superhero. If the rest of you are just half as brave as Gears, those Decepticons are in big trouble. Good luck." And Buster, "Goodbye, Spider-Man, and thanks." But soon, we see Ratchet, or one of the is it the computer? One of them says, "I managed to revive him to minimum operating levels." So I guess he's back, but he's weak. We see Ratchet say, "Incredible, he's trying to speak." And we see Gears say, Megatron got what he wanted from human." And Buster whips around and says, "Dad, say it isn't so." Continue next issue.
Do you have Iron Man Santa on your back page?
That sounds personal. No, I have G.I. Duke from G.I. Joe.
Ah, wow.
Different printings.
Different printings. I have Indiana Jones, the board game, or a video game.
Where on the back cover?
On the very back cover, yeah. It's a role-playing game. Oh, so it's not a video game.
Inside or outside?
Inside.
Oh.
On the outside, I have Risk.
Oh, on the inside, I have Heathcliff.
Star Comics.
Yeah, Star Comics. And on the back, I have an ad for... what kind of acne medicine is this? Oh, Noxzema. Acne 12.
Oh, wow. Just giving body issues to teenagers.
Hey, kids. You don't need this yet. You will soon.
Rubbing all that, your newsprinty fingers all over your face. That's how they get you.
When your spider sense starts tingling, it might be time for Noxzema.
Oh boy! So that was a fun-filled issue as we draw one issue closer to our podcast's conclusion. No.
Yeah, right.
Number 4 in a limited series. Wow. This actually had a lot more Spider-Man than I thought would be in this, too.
Mm-hmm.
I thought it would be kind of a cheap cameo or something, but it was pretty integral to the plot. Got some wisecracks in. Saw some symbiotes taking over. It was cool.
Our first and only connection to the greater Marvel universe.
Yeah. And a little Nicholas... excuse me. Oh. A little shield action, too.
Yeah.
Nicholas Fury, rather.
Joe Robertson at the Bugle.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
But yeah, next issue we'll find out why Optimus should have looked at those computer banks.
Yeah. The thrilling conclusion to the first storyline of many as we make our way through.
Don't expect a happy ending next issue. All right, so should we get out of here?
Let's get out.
All right, join us next week for Transformers number 4. How do you keep going? Well, I guess we'll have to wait and see, but share your thoughts with us because we're going to keep going.
Leave them in the comments section. Share the URL.
That's right. Or send us emails or voicemails, and we'll read them here. CapesandLunatics@gmail.com. Follow Greetings from Cybertron on Facebook, on Twitter, at GreetCybertron, and the voicemail, 614-382-2737. That's 614-38-CAPES. Call us, you primitive humans.
We'll record it onto a cassette and play it.
Nice. Matt
or
Coda,
will it be Ravage?
Matt Coda, where can people beat you at Stephen King Trivia?
Oh, you can beat me at Stephen King Trivia at Matt Kona. If you want to listen to the podcast episode where I do horrendously bad in trivia, I will tweet it out. It comes out on April 6th, depending on when you're listening to this. But MATTKONA, that's where you can find me across all the social media platforms. If you're in the Boston area and you want to learn about history, I'm going to be giving Boston Duck Tours out. Call, get a ticket, request me, and I'll tell you some corny jokes. And we can talk comic books at the end.
Nice. But yeah, when that appearance goes up, gotta make sure I have the link. Maybe I'll put it on our Transformers videos and on our podcast, The Quantum Zone.
Yes.
Only on the Capes and Lunatics Sidekicks podcast and this YouTube channel.
Yeah.
Where we discuss the Marvel character Quasar, me, Matt, and our friend Will.
Yeah.
Can't wait. We're going to be getting some good Transformers, like some weird but good Transformer stories.
Yeah. I'm excited.
Heck yeah. Have you read ahead at all?
I have not.
Ooh, nice.
I have not. Actually, I read some before. I didn't finish it.
Oh, okay.
I read some of it,
So you didn't see the shock ending? Okay.
No.
Nice.
I'll prepare myself, though.
All right. Join us back here next time, everyone. But until then, Autobots, roll out.